Hey guys, in the backyard underneath the banana trees, just attempting to do the old Gizmo 36 build. Try to keep it simple, stupid, so everyone can understand, and we'll see how we go. Righto, sitting under the shade of the banana trees. Lovely day outside here. We've got a Gizmo. That's it. All the bits we need to build almost. Got a couple of MKS 6188s. I haven't actually used this particular servo before, but it feels really tight and nice. They're an aluminium center case with plastic ends with metal gears, and they're cheap. They're 40 bucks, whatever. So very good. Anyway, antelope pack, 2000 milliamp. That'll be mounted up about there. Fits in, won't go any further forward of that because it's too skinny in here. And I probably might need a fraction of lead, but I can't see very much, might be 10 grams or something. So anyway, this is it. Here I've already got the horns mounted in. Horns are mounted in here, and they're 8 to 10 mil above the control surface. The hole is about 7 or 8, I think it is, on this one. I'm just trying many different ones, and you know, the taller you go, the less throw you've got, and the more resolution. So if you're using a sloppier servo, you want to go a bit taller horn. At the moment, I am in the middle of getting some CNC machined for me. So the first number of kits will be handmade carbon ones by me, and the rest should be G10 CNC ones, so everyone gets exactly the same. So anyway, we'll get onto it. Plenty of room here in the bay. You've got depths of here in the vicinity of 12, 13 mil, something like that. You can chamfer the skin away if you need to, top and bottom a fraction, because there's 4 or 5 layers of glass on that in that section. These servos I think are 12 mil, and they just fit straight in like that. And they're actually snug in there. I'll be only CAing these in, a bit of CA on the back and top and bottom, and they're sweet. I'll actually mount them, when I mount them in, I'll be mounting them so they line up with those marks that I've made. It's 20 mil out, and that concurs with the 10 mil in on the control surface at the back. So my rod will all should line up quite nicely through there. Now flipping over, back over to where the control rods go through these holes here, both the horn location and this hole will be marked when you get the plane, so you won't have to do any measuring. It'll be all done for you. You just got to drill a hole through there, and depending on your servo, which way you run, there will be a mark on the inside in here in relationship where your servo drive should be, because that angle will change from where the servo is to the size of your horn. That'll change. So it's an approximate hole. You will be getting a template of this area. I'll be making a template so you can measure where your servo is going to be and measure it on the template, and then you can get the right geometry correct, just to make it a bit easier for everyone, because it is hit and miss. If you sort of work out and roughly try to do it, you drill a hole, and like one of my previous ones, I had a hole that was about 1 inch long here because I obviously made it a bit too far forward, and then I had to keep going back and back and back and back. So it is easy to stuff up, so you'll be getting an approximate hole here, which will be give and take. You may have to take 5 mil out or whatever, but I will supply a little template of here, so you can work out your exact geometry in relation to whatever servo you use. And obviously different servos will have a different distance from front to back, so wherever the servo is going to be positioned, that'll change your geometry slightly. So I'm going to supply that template, and that should hopefully solve anyone's dramas. Righto, while I'm talking about geometry, I've drilled the hole here as low down on the servo arm as I could. You can probably see, I'll just try to, I don't know whether you can focus in on that. I have ground away some aluminium from the inner part of it, purely under the basis so I can get the horn as low down as possible and as high up on the horn at the back, and that gives me the best geometry so I can still have quite a lot of throw on my servo with only minimal movement at the back. This is a have to. No matter what servo you use, you need to put it as low as you can on the servo arm as possible to give you the best resolution. With these planks, to get them to fly perfect, they need, you end up with 1 millimeter, maybe 1.5 millimeter of elevator. So if you haven't got your horn on the front right down low, you just ain't gonna get the resolution that you need. You're going to end up having to turn your elevator rate down to like 5%, so then you end up having 100% of your movement is 5% of your throw, which you don't want. You want to have 20, 30, 40% of throw is 1 millimeter. So look, it's just a must. Without setting it up properly, the Gizmo will never ever fly to its potential. Alright, I've just put the main rod in, and you can see there it's springy, and it's springy if I turn it over, it's springy because it's hitting on the leading edge here. So as I said before, I've got to grind that out a bit and chamfer the underside of it. So you want to pay most of your attention to the underside, so you get a bit of an angle there, so your rod will slide in and out freely. And also you can see if I can't lift it up and I can't push it down, it's hitting on the back slightly, not by much, but I'll have to chamfer the back of it as well. So the back of the hole needs to be chamfered on top, and the front of the hole needs to be chamfered on the bottom of it. So you just get a nice, and I can't say enough, you've got to get that sliding perfectly before you hook it up onto here, have it on your servo, and once you get it mounted to your servo and everything feels really nice and smooth, you've got to be able to move it totally freely without it rubbing on here at all. We have had a couple of planes that we think we had servo centering problems, and the end result was that there, just rubbing a fraction, and that creates drama. So you have to spend time and get this set up perfect, and your Gizmo will be just magic. Now this is going to be tricky. I'm going to Dremel this out and film with the iPad. See how we go, eh? Or actually, a Zito it out. A Zito. No sponsors here. Now, I found that a bit hard, because while I was doing it, I had this bloke pulling the cord, which doesn't really help when you're trying to do something. Hey, Murphy, what are you doing, mate? Get out of it. Mate, hard to find good help. Also, something else when you test how or if it's hitting, you just put upward pressure on it, line it up with the center of the hole, and slide it back and forth, and you can hear it. So you can just hear it on the inner surface in here. So you know you've got to do a bit more. If you can't line it up with the hole perfectly while it's attached to the servo, you've still got a bit more grinding to do. Take your time doing this bit and get it right. There you go. That's all done. You can see that half clearly there. Alright, and you can see I've got plenty of waggle and movement, and I can actually lift it up and down a fraction. If you get that little up and down movement, you know you're pretty safe. So let's hook it up to the servo. and have a look. Alright, that's all done. The servo's not glued in yet, but I can go and do that now and then cut my control rod to the perfect length. One thing I'd like to note is when you have it all operational and good, I don't know whether you can see on camera, but see, you should be able to see light all the way around the control rod itself, and everything should free and move freely without making any type of grinding noise at all. It should be all smooth and nice, and that's hooked up to the servo under there, and I can move it. Obviously the servo's moving, it's not tied in, but I've got no grinding sounds. The little tiny grinding sounds is what you need to listen for. If you've got grinding sounds at all, undo it, take your clevis off, slide it out, and then chamfer the inside until you can have the servo in place, loose, and you can do all that. And it's got like a millimetre gap top and bottom of the rod. So you can probably do a bit neater hole than me, but I'm happy to. That's like a 5mm piece. I find it easy. If you've got a Dremel with one of those cone pieces on it, you can just chamfer in and out. Makes the job pretty simple and easy, and takes you a couple of minutes. Hi guys, that's about it. It gives you a bit of a rundown of how to set it up. It's pretty easy. It's 2 servos and 1 battery. At the end of the day, it's pretty straightforward. I'll mark everything out for you, so when you get it, it'll be all marked out. You just got to cut and shut and do your best of getting it set up. All I can say is get it set up, do it right, take your time, get it set up properly, and get everything perfect, because if you don't, the Gizmo ain't going to fly like you think it's going to. If you set it up like crap and use crap servos, etc., etc., it'll fly like crap. So just please take your time, get it set up properly, and you'll enjoy it as much as all of us are already. So the difference is amazing when you get things set up perfect. So take your time. On the second video, I'm going to show you battery install, CGing it, and then throws, etc., blah blah blah, and also probably how to throw it, because there is a little technique to throw it because there's nothing to hold on to. So I'll show you that as well, and you should be flying on a slope in a couple of hours once you get it. Thanks guys, see you on the next one.